Good morning, Ben, and also to the viewers.
Just let's go back to the beginning at the top. The opening ceremony, it always sets the tone for these kinds of tournaments. Tell us what the reaction has been to the opening ceremony so far.
Well, yes, as you expected, obviously most people were expecting something similar to what we saw in Johannesburg last year, when Nigeria went all the way to win the tournament, and also with the opening ceremony as well. It was a similar ceremony of what we saw in Johannesburg, but I think the difference with this one was just the attendance on the stands. The culture of arriving late at the stadium for our people is something that still has not changed, but it was colorful, and also it had all the ingredients of what African football, and also the entertainment, the song, the drums and the dance of what we know about our continent.
You mentioned it now, and it's the elephant in the room that people are not talking about, is the poor attendance in the mother city. Ticket sales has been really worrying. How is it going now? Is it picking up a little bit? And what are the plans that are being put in place to get people to the stadium?
I think when you at the stadium, as much as during the opening ceremony, the attendance was not that good. But looking at the attendance when the game started, and also until it finished, I think there was a decent crowd. Over 26,000 people attended the game. Because there were concerns a few days before. Only 10,000 tickets, I think 3 days before the game was played, only 10,000 tickets had been sold. But there was some improvement as the game took place. And also yesterday, I was at Athlone Stadium. I have to say that South African football fans have a lot to learn throughout this tournament, especially from our neighbors, Zimbabwe, who really came out in numbers yesterday to not only support their team, because Zimbabwe played the first game against Morocco, entertaining game it was, but also when the game had finished, they remained behind to support the other teams that were playing, ably assisted by fans of Burkina Faso, and also some colorful scenes as well from the East Africans, Uganda. So that was the spirit that we saw, that South Africa is not just about South African football fans, but also our neighboring countries as well, coming out in full force to support this tournament.
We saw that in Johannesburg, and Cape Town is renowned to be really poor supporters of local football and local international football. Why did the organizing committee then decide to go to Cape Town with this tournament like that?
I think this one goes back to when the countries, in fact, when the cities were announced for the AFCON tournament, because as you know that South Africa didn't bid for this African Nations Championship on its own. It comes as a package. If you host an AFCON tournament going forward, you'll also have to host the CHAN tournament the following year. In this case, you have a situation where the tournament had been awarded to Libya, but Libya, due to the political challenges it had, it ended up making a switch and swapping the tournament of 2017, which South Africa had won the bid. So South Africa took over 2013. So in this case, you also have Morocco that will be hosting the AFCON next year, and the following year they'll be hosting the CHAN tournament in 2016. So those are the differences. So when Cape Town lost out to host the AFCON due to the bidding system that had been introduced then, it was considered that there will be no bidding for the CHAN tournament. So those cities that had missed out on hosting the AFCON would eventually host this tournament. Hence, you see that it's Cape Town hosting two groups due to the size of the city and also the facilities that they have, having two stadiums in one city, and then you have Bloemfontein and Polokwane hosting, which were not part of AFCON 2013.
The matches itself, Velile, the quality of football has been quite high. Bafana made a good start, but it will get tougher for them now with the likes of Nigeria having to come back after a shocking defeat, really.
Without a doubt, I think most of us in the media space and also some football fans and analysts in the country who had anticipated and also called this tournament as a pointless and a useless tournament, were made to eat a humble pie this past weekend. If you look at the level of performance, right from the first game, Bafana Bafana against Mozambique. Mozambique surprised me because last week on Tuesday, I had gone to watch one of their training matches in Johannesburg against Libya, and I thought they gave Bafana Bafana a fright on Saturday. And also, when you look at the quality of play as well, the goals, I mean, Hlomphokekana's thunderous bolt. And also, when you look at the way Mali surprised Nigeria, I really didn't expect that. It was also Mali's first ever win against Nigeria at any level in international football. And we'll go to look at games from yesterday as well, especially Zimbabwe. They were so unfortunate not to win against that Moroccan team. And the Moroccan team that had 8 players from Raja Casablanca. Raja Casablanca had been the same team that played Bayern Munich in the World Club Cup final a few weeks ago in Morocco. So, I mean, you look yesterday, Uganda as well, winning 2-1 against Burkina Faso, a stylish and also a passionate, exciting Ugandan team. You look at the youngster who scored the 2 goals in that game, the brace, Yunus Santam. I was talking to his coach, Mletin Sredojevic, a former coach of Orlando Pirates. He says the boy, it was for the first time he boarded a plane outside his country.
Wow.
So it tells you about what this tournament brings. And some of these players, not only will they be left behind in the PSL in South Africa, some could possibly be going overseas as well, because they are also scouts, as we saw this past weekend, coming from different countries in Europe.
Well, Velile, that's the nature of this tournament. I think we can expect more surprises. Thank you for that contribution. That's Velile Mbuli joining us from Cape Town, giving us a little look into the CHAN tournament that's underway. Of course, South Africa won their first match 3-1 against Mozambique, and there were surprise defeats for Burkina Faso, as well as pre-tournament favourites Nigeria. That wraps Newsroom 4 today.